Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Charlene for anyone that's new. Today I thought I would do something a little different, and I was scrolling through Pinterest and I seen a whole bunch of recipes that were new to me, and I just thought I would print off a few that I've never made before and try them out. So what I did was I seen a whole bunch of recipes with cottage cheese in them. So I printed out four different ones, and I have two packages, so I'm not sure if it's enough for all four, but we'll hopefully get at least three of them in. So the first one I'm going to do is it's a cottage cheese cookie, and this one you have to let sit in the fridge overnight. So we're going to start with that one. Hopefully if I just leave it maybe for the rest of the morning and afternoon, then I should be able to do it still today. But so it's going to be combining a half a cup of softened butter and a half a cup of cottage cheese. So I already measured out the softened butter. And now we'll do the cottage cheese. Whoops, I just spilled it. Just supposed to, I'm just going to clean up my mess a little there. Just supposed to blend these together. Okay, that looks pretty good and blended. Okay, and then we just sip the dry ingredients and add it to the wet ingredients. So it's 1.5 cups of flour. Alrighty, it's a half a cup of sugar. I should probably need that for another recipe. I'll leave it out. And then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of salt. Just gonna mix that up good. Just actually mix this nicely. Supposed to make between 2 and 3 dozen. Probably a nice, very simple recipe, that's for sure. Just what I love. Okay, what does this say? Now we're supposed to form this into a loaf and wrap it in plastic wrap. Okay, so this is still very powdery. I am just gonna use my fingers in here. Reminds me of my thumbprint cookies that I make at Christmas time. This is how I have to do it. Just curious. It smells good. There's still quite a bit of powder on the bottom. I think it's a good idea to do it with your hands though, because I think it would take forever just to keep stirring it with a fork. Okay, there's still little chunks in here. I'm just gonna quickly break up and then we will wrap it. From the looks of it, whatever shape you make this in, you just cut the cookies like this. Should be big enough. Actually, maybe I'll do it the long way. Okay, that's there we go. Maybe I'll just do that a little bit. Make it a little more circular. Okay, I'll put this in the fridge. So all cleaned up from the first recipe, and this one is actually, looks like it's very, very simple. It's cottage cheese flatbread. It only has 2 ingredients, 8 ounces of cottage cheese and 2 large eggs. So I already have the oven preheated at 350, and oh, you have to put this in a blender or food processor until smooth. Okay, I'm going to use my NutriBullet. It's not for a large amount, so that should work. 8 ounces. There. And 2 large eggs. Looks good. Okay. Now Now we get a cookie sheet. You spray the cookie sheet and then put parchment paper and spray it again, I guess. I think this one's a little too big for that amount. I'm gonna grab a smaller one. Does it say the size actually? Pour the mixture over the. Okay, I'll just use a normal. This one's a 13 by 18. And then, didn't I have my parchment paper? Maybe I didn't. That's not it. That's waxed. Okay, I might be losing it. Thought I had it out. I do not have parchment paper, so what I'm going to do is just use aluminum foil instead. All I have is wax paper, and lots of it apparently. So I will actually write that on my grocery list, which I should probably do now before I forget. Parchment paper. Okay, that is done. Oops. Okay. Then I'm going to spray on top of this as well. And then it says to keep it in a triangle shape as you pour this on. Say rectangle, sorry, not triangle. Oh, a little bit of it went over, but that's okay. Let's make it go a little that way. Okay, so now, let me read this. Spread out into a rectangle shape, season to your own taste. Sometimes they'll put everything but the bagel seasoning over theirs. You bake it for 45 minutes until it's firm and golden brown. Okay, so I don't have that kind of seasoning. I think I'm just going to leave it plain because I really don't know how I'm going to use it. Okay, so in the oven it goes. So that's done. Let's see how much we have left there. Okay, since that's going to be 45 minutes, the other one I have is called a chocolate cottage cheese cookie. That sounds really good. I want to try that one. But that one has to be baked, so I'll do that one last. So I thought this one kind of sounded interesting, a frozen cottage cheese bark. Maple syrup, vanilla's already there, cinnamon, peanut butter. Okay, sorry, my camera just shut off, so I'm not sure where we left off. So I'm just going to recap. We're using whatever size cookie sheet you can fit in your freezer and put parchment paper or tin foil and spray it and put it aside. And then we do have to blend this recipe. So I put 2 cups of cottage cheese in here and 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. Okay, so that's as far as I got so far. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm not going to measure because I love vanilla in every recipe. I always put a little bit more than what it calls for because I think it makes everything taste better. And a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. All right. And 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. Perfect. And 4 tablespoons of almond milk. I don't have almond milk, so I'm just going to use regular milk. Oops. So then we're just going to blend that up. So it says blend on high speed until smooth and creamy. Okay. See how that goes. Okay, let's see how if it's smooth. I'm just going to use a spoon to check. Yep. Just looks as if you made like a banana smoothie or something. Actually, should I test this? See if it's going to be good? It's good. Very good. Okay, so it looks like we just smooth it across. I'm just flattening it a little. There's a few little bumps in here. Actually, I should have used definitely should have used a smaller cookie sheet. I used the large one. Okay. So, and what I'll do is, first of all, just get out everything that I can. You know what I'm thinking even? For this recipe, you know those 8x8 glass dishes? I'm kind of thinking that might even be better for this. Because then it will be a little thicker as well. Maybe if we enjoy this, that's what I'll try next time. And I will just spread this out to kind of make it look a little bigger. Okay, so now it talks that you can put toppings on. So you can use like raspberries or If you want to chop almonds in there, blueberries, or strawberries. So they all sound really good on there, but you know what I think I'm actually going to do is just put chocolate chips on. I'll just sprinkle some on. Okay, and then I'm just going to leave it, let's see how long it says to leave in the freezer for. Freeze for 2 to 3 hours or until hardened. So see, that's what it is before it goes in. It's like a trap in that freezer. I gotta clean it. Oh, does this one need... Okay, so one other recipe down, and I am going to clean this mess up and then get ready for the next cookie. Okay, so we are all set to make the next recipe, but I am smelling burning in the oven, so I'm just going to check on... Yeah. So this is definitely not... Actually, I should get my other coil. This recipe is definitely not working in my oven, so I don't know if it's just because I used tin foil, if it's my oven, or I have to cook it maybe on a little lower of a temperature. But yeah, the edges are completely burned and the center is not quite cooked, so that's a flop. I might try it again and just maybe just spray it or use a silicone mat instead anyways, but for this time it didn't work. But that's okay, it's just a test day anyways. So for this next recipe I had to up the temperature to 375. So we're gonna put all of the... So this is a part blender recipe as well. I'm gonna put all of the dried ingredients in a bowl. So let's see, where should we start? Cocoa powder, a third cup of cocoa powder. I don't know what I did. Third cup. A little much. It says 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar. I don't have coconut sugar. Well, I do, but I looked high and low and I can't find it, so it might be down in the basement. But anyways, so I'm just going to use regular sugar for this time, and it was tablespoons. Then a half a teaspoon of baking powder and baking soda. And I misplaced my half a teaspoon, so I'm just using my full, but just, okay, that's the baking powder. Baking soda. And that's it for this part. So I'll just mix that up nicely. Okay, we're going to put this aside. And now the part that goes in the blender. Now I need to get myself a better blender so that I can do recipes like this, but for now this is what I have. So we are going to use 1 cup of rolled oats. And then we put everything else in. So then we have 1 egg white, which I've already separated, 4 tablespoons of coconut oil melted, already done. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Half a cup of cottage cheese. Yep, pretty much exactly. So just scrape all of it in there. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. So we got cottage cheese, egg white, vanilla, coconut oil, rolled oats. Did that. Just the chocolate chips at the end. Okay, now we're going to mix this until it's smooth. Okay, that is done. Now, normally it's said to add the dry ingredients into the wet, but I'm not going to do that with this small blender, so I'm just going to add it to here. It smells really good. The coconut oil is all I smell. That should do for that. Okay, so I'm just going to mix all of this together. Now I can see that the bullet is not the best of blenders to use. It did not blend all of the oats down, but that's okay too, because I really don't mind oats in my cookies. Okay, that looks like it's good. I just sprayed a cookie sheet. I'm not going to put parchment paper or anything on there. Okay, I found I think that's about a tablespoon of the cookie scoop. Okay, now it does not say anything about flattening them, so I don't know if they're gonna, I'm gonna just move them a little bit apart. We're gonna bake them for 10 to 12 minutes. I'm gonna start with 10 minutes and go from there. Okay, cookies are done. They did not change shape at all. Had them out for a couple minutes. So they held their shape. They feel like the insides are a little soft, but I'm not sure the good soft or they should have been flattened. I'll let you know. I'm going to let them cool for just a couple more minutes before I take them off. But I did want to point out the flatbread that I kind of broke off all the burnt parts around the outside just to kind of try it, and it's not bad. So it's easily can rip them easily, so you would easily be able to fold them, like just put whatever ingredients you want in there. But it's a light taste, but you can taste the cottage cheese for sure, obviously. And so I think what I'm going to do, because that would be great like when you're trying to watch the amount of carbs, but obviously cottage cheese has protein and stuff in it. So I'm gonna try maybe using my silicone mat or something next time, and maybe lowering the temperature a little bit. So I'll play with that one and see. But yeah, I think that actually would be a nice recipe actually. So just thought I'd share that. So I actually was just checking as well on the cookies that we put in the fridge, and 2 hours seems to have done it. They're nice and solid. So since I'm doing everything, I might as well finish doing this one. So what does it say now? So it's going to be cooked at 375 for only 8 to 10 minutes. And I guess you put frosting on these after. Okay, so I'll see what I have while they are cooking. And, oh, there's no details on how to cut them. So I guess you cut them as thin or thick as you like. Okay, it says slice thin. Okay. I think I'll get a cutting board. Before I start this, I'm going to take the cookies off the baking sheet. Just so they don't stick. Oh, they came off really easy. Since they're already done, I might as well test one. I like the softness. They are that kind of squishy cookie, but there's like no sweetness to it. I think I can play with this recipe to make it a little bit better. But I definitely will keep this recipe and try it again, but definitely needs more sweetness to it. It's definitely a nice airy cookie, so that I would like that. So I will probably play with that one. But it's good to know. You can just barely taste coconut. You know what? Actually, that might be something good to add to it, is coconut flakes. And a little, that will itself add sweetness, but okay. I will play with it. Okay, so we are going to actually, let me spray a cookie sheet. So I think I'm just going to stick to spraying my cookie sheets. That's what I've always done. But when recipes tell me to use parchment paper, I'll try it and they don't turn out very good. Where do I put this? Okay, I guess right up front. If you look really close, you can see little white, oh, I don't want to drop that, little white pieces, which will be the cottage cheese chunks. Okay, I'm not really sure how thin to cut these. I'm wondering if you could freeze this, like if we really liked it. Make it a head and freeze. Oops, that's not quite an even cut. All right, a couple of these are, I think I might squish them together because they're so tiny, I think they would just burn. All right, we'll just do that. Maybe. Cookies are out of the oven and they have cooled. Now the recipe says to put on some homemade icing sugar or frosting if you want to buy the store-bought. So I thought I would just make a little bit. So I'm going to use icing sugar and about 1/2 cup of this. I'm going to put it in a full cup measuring and just use that to stir everything in, because I don't think I need a huge amount. That looks like I need to refill that. And you don't need a lot of milk. That may have already been a little bit much. I like mine a little thicker rather than runny. So now I think I'm going to make this one a vanilla flavored, but just a little bit. So I'm only going to put like a drop in there. And then I'm just going to try to get all the lumps and bumps out of the icing sugar portion. Okay, I'm going to leave one cookie that I don't, no, these smaller ones got a little darker on the bottom, but the middle is still. So I'll leave these two without the icing sugar. So you can do this any way you like. You can just drizzle them on, or you can make sure every inch of the cookie is covered. It's up to you. But I definitely suggest putting it on a cookie sheet at the bottom and a cooling rack above. I guess it looks nicer when you just sprinkle them across. It does look nicer. Okay, just a little short, but that's all right. Okay, we'll let that harden and then we'll test it. All right, so I checked the freezer and this bark is done. So I'm gonna take it. Okay, so I'm gonna break. I'm gonna just break off a little chunk to test it. It's different. You taste the cinnamon. I don't think I would put cinnamon in it next time. I love cinnamon, but I don't really love it in this piece. Let me try it with a chocolate chip. I didn't get that. It's okay. I probably wouldn't make this recipe again, just because it's not my thing. I love bark. I love the bark made with chocolate, but yeah, this one isn't doing it for me, but I will definitely eat these anyways. It'll be nice now that the weather is getting warmer for just a quick cool treat. So I'm gonna definitely get these cleaned up and back in the freezer, and then we'll test the cookies. So yeah, just in the couple minutes that the bark was on the counter, portions of it were already starting to melt. So that's something you definitely want to eat immediately if you try that. Okay, so back to the cookies. I'm going to try one that has no icing on it. These are very soft. They're good. They taste just like, is it the sugar cookies that are soft? I get those kind of cookies mixed up. Anyways, very good. And that's without the icing. Now I'll try one with a bit of the icing. This recipe is awesome. I love that. This recipe I will definitely make again. Pretty much just exactly like this. The bark definitely was a no-go, but it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't like disgusting or anything. It was just, it's just not my cup of tea. The cookies and the chocolate cookies were really good, except for I'm just going to tweak them a little bit. So I would still say today was still a good test of, you get one that's perfect and one that I have to tweak and one that was a no-go. So it's still good. I'm going to enjoy these cookies. I'm going to probably have to hide a few. So, all right. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.